Okay, and we're live. This is the OSRA Scrum for Tuesday, March 24th, 2015. Here we have Christian, Gabrielle, Michelle, and myself. And with the current dev team, let's go around the room and give a brief update on what we've been up to. Christian, let's start with you.
Hello guys.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I've been working lately on this start date, not prior to OSRA establishment date. It's been here for I think 29 days.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is ready now. Not sure if you guys see what I changed today.
I saw the messages on Slack, but I haven't looked
Yeah.
at the pull request yet.
So let's see if I change this. No. This. So this validator for the RSpec. So the way you use it, before the options were passed as an array, and
Right.
only the names were here. So now we are passing the options as a hash and giving it the value also. So this way we can check if the validator is has an if at the end.
Okay.
So that's what I changed, and we can also check that. So, for example, we have a validator that has all these options. We can do an assertion to check only for one of them, and it will still pass. We don't have to check for all of them. The validation has.
Right. Okay. So basically, you tell it that this
Exactly.
validator with that option has to be included, and it doesn't care about the other options.
Exactly. Yeah. It's checking only for the presence of the ones you're telling.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So this will be helpful in the future. Uh, I tried to do something like this. I have this uh, the validators when it's checking that the validator is present on the model. If you remember,
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking
Yeah.
all the validators and looking that it has the specified validator included.
Yeah.
So I tried to refactor this in a method. And I tried to do something like how was that? Validator or validator dot on attribute 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 uh, with options. Yeah, read here is params. I think here is params on. See what I mean?
So basically, so that you could chain everything together.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
very readable.
Right.
Uh, thing is, I'm not sure how to do this. Well, at first I tried this, and this works fine. If I do on, okay, and give it a hash like this, and then another one with options. So I'm sending this as parameter.
Mm-hmm.
So this is easy to do, but this doesn't look very good because it has this.
Well, it's not horrible.
Yeah, but I wanted something like a DSL or something.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Well, I think it would be interesting to actually to implement that. I think that's a good idea. Um, I think at the moment I would like to see this merged in.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So let's do that, and then um, keep.
I'm just asking quickly, can
Mhm.
you do something like this? And is this possible to do without creating a class and just playing with classes? Not sure. Never done this.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, you just want to like
Because
it,
this one looks like this, right?
yeah.
So it's one after another. Same thing.
Well,
So
yeah, it's just making sure that the chain methods return.
yeah, exactly. It has to return something that has this method.
Yeah.
It has to return an object that has this method. Right? That's confusing a little.
Okay. Let's keep thinking about that. I think that would be a good.
Just for fun, I mean.
Yeah. Well, but as you say, I think that that DSL would be even more usable than what's there now.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Uh, Also, this user index pagination from Brian is ready.
Right. Yeah, I still haven't looked at that. Sorry, I haven't had the time at all.
Okay, sure. And where's this one? Yeah. The sponsorships listing the sponsors showed you. So I added this button here and refactor
Right.
is fine from the code review. And make sure is it ready. I guess
But
so.
yeah, I still had those questions about the tests.
Oh, I didn't see them. Okay.
And then yeah, that idea, my comment just above um, about changing the
Uh,
default scope.
Uh, didn't I do that, or did you mean something else? I added this scope. Isn't this what you wanted?
No, my question was if you remember what Craig has done with orphans, I think, where the default scope for orphans, so basically whenever you get an orphan record from the database, it automatically includes um, both statuses.
Ah, so on every find?
Yeah, so on every find for sponsorship, you would also include sponsor and orphan.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And I think in the case of sponsorship, that would be even more useful because it's pretty rare that you need the sponsorship without
Right.
referring
Yeah.
to its sponsor and its orphan. So having that as a default scope might work out in our favor.
Well, I
Because
can't think of any situation where you don't want to be,
yeah,
because sponsorships you always work with the orphan.
yeah, yeah,
And I think the services are built that way that it loads the orphans every time because every time you change something on the orphan, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, basically, yeah. When the service works with the sponsorship,
Uh-huh.
it definitely because it updates the statuses for both the sponsor and the orphan. So yeah, they every time you touch a sponsorship, you basically also touch those associations anyway.
Well, in that case, I think it will be useful to add a bit of stuff.
Yeah. Ideally, what we should be doing is we should be profiling to make sure that we reduce the n+1 queries, that we speed up our, the response time, etc.
But
Um,
in this case, we don't need the sponsor to be loaded from
yeah,
the
but I
console.
think, yeah, I think what is, well, I guess I shouldn't say that because I don't know this for a fact, but I think when you're loading the sponsorship through sponsor or through orphan, I am assuming that it's intelligent enough to understand that that object is already in memory. But maybe I'm being optimistic here.
Yeah, if it's on the same object, it remembers it.
Yeah. So in that case, even though the default scope would also include both the sponsor and the orphan, the fact, for example, in this case, the sponsor is already in memory would mean that it doesn't actually make a separate trip to the database to get the
I
sponsor
see, I
because it
see.
already knows that the sponsor is loaded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. Good point, yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's the same. Mm-hmm. It's cached in the memory, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, like I said, ideally something like that should be done with profiling, or at least, with you keeping an eye on the SQL that gets sent to the database to
Mm-hmm.
see the queries that it executes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't. This is something that I would be okay um, putting into a different pull request. So merge this as is, and then create a default scope for sponsorships. Make sure that it actually works the way we think it should work.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you think it's useful to add a new task. If not, I can do this in this one.
Well, again, I think we're running into the point where we would rather see these pull requests merged in.
Yeah, but this one has only 18 days.
That
Yeah, okay,
that
sure.
sounds bad, but it's unfortunately true. Only 18 days. It's
Wow.
not bad. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, I think this is all for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I have two other things that can wait until the Scrum is on.
Yeah. Okay.
There are some bugs I found. I think I found.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Um, Gabrielle, let's go to you.
Um, I was doing well code review. I just read Christopher told me that he won't continue doing his pull request. So basically, uh, he told me that finish his pull request and trying to submit a new one because he won't continue doing.
Did,
So
did he say anything why he decided to stop suddenly?
yes, it's related to time. Basically, he doesn't have time to being in the project, so that's it.
Okay. So it's not like we offended him or anything.
No, no.
Okay, good.
So I will working on that on well I will try to make a new pull request with the code he left, and and also do the review because there is a lot of changes in the code.
Okay. So, I looked at this PR yesterday, I think, and from what I recall, there wasn't anything major that needed to be done there. I think it was fairly close to being merged. There were just a few questions to be addressed. So hopefully it shouldn't take that much more time.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'll wrap up. What did I do? I merged the pull request about converting father alive to father deceased. So that's now merged into our testing environment, and everything seems to be okay. The problem that we had on testing is that we use the old fixtures to populate the database on testing, and those old fixtures were actually invalid because they specified father as alive, but they also provided the date of death and a cause of death. So after I merged in that code that had the new correct validations for everything, basically all the records on testing became invalid. And what I did today was I actually, to repopulate the database on testing, what I ended up doing was I populated my local development database on my machine using Factory Girl, and then cloned that database onto the Heroku server. And the advantage of that is that the records that we had on testing before were essentially all just clones of each other. The only thing that was different about them was the name. But now these are all Factory Girl generated randomized records. So we have some with father alive, some with father dead, different father martyr status, different siblings counts, etc. So just a more representative example. And actually, and I did the same with sponsors on testing. So again, we have, at the moment, we have 450 sponsors in our testing database, and we have 1,250 orphans. So that's a pretty good representation of where the client hopes the production application will be by the middle of this year. So it's probably not a bad thing, not a pretty good environment for us to be testing, basically to run our tests. What else did I do? I sent 2 stories to the client for review. One was Gabrielle's filtering orphans by name and by birth date. That was accepted. The other one was displaying the this thing here. So next to the sponsor's request fulfilled, it shows how many sponsorships the sponsor has out of the total number that they requested. And they've accepted that, except for they want also, what I understand, they want to see the total numbers. So they want to see the total number of sponsorships that are currently active out of the total number of sponsorships that have been requested. So I was just in the middle of writing a message back to Tarek to clarify that. And once I understand exactly what they want, then I'll create another task in Jira to do that.
Probably at the top of the page.
Yeah, because he said at the end of the table, but of course with the paginated table, I don't think he wanted it to be at the end. I think he wanted it to be somewhere in the title here.
Yeah.
What else? I think that's it. I've been doing code review yesterday mostly. I think a little bit today, although I'm not sure. But yeah, I think we're making good progress with the PRs that are open now. So hopefully your 2 PRs, Christian, will be merged soon, maybe today, tomorrow. This one, as I said, Gabrielle, I think, should be able to finish it fairly quickly. It's practically done. There are just a few things to polish up there, basically. I haven't looked at user pagination, but since Brian had it mostly done too, I guess there are not that many changes from where he left it last.
Yeah, it was like 1 or 2 hours and
okay,
very little.
Right. Then my pull request has been sitting here, and it's not really a part of our current workflow, so I'm okay if it doesn't move very fast. And I think we should be closing this one by Robbie, because he submitted it as a work in progress, and he hasn't been around, although there's, again, just like with his previous PR about the importer, there's valuable code in there, but it's very much incomplete. So, it's been here for, 2 months now. So yeah, we'll probably close it, and if he comes back, then he can restart it. hopefully, and if not, then we'll need to come back to it at some point ourselves. Yeah. Okay, the other thing that I did, guys, I shared this in Slack, is that we have this Kanban board now in Jira. I've kind of set it up based on our previous discussion. I put limits on how many tasks can be in progress, how many can be in code review at any one time. I split things into to-do and icebox. I actually ended up deleting a lot of tasks from the backlog because they were either duplicated or no longer relevant. And for the most part, the to-do column and the icebox column are prioritized, so whatever's near the top should get first priority. But I did it by myself, so if
you did it manually?
yeah, I did it manually, and I did it based on sort of my memory of what the client requested, on my thinking about what should come first, what should come second. So if anybody thinks, if anybody spots any mistakes or problems here, then by all means, please let me know, and we'll change that up.
And is that something I'd be able to get access to?
Yes, it is. The only problem is I think we still have to contact Craig about that, and Craig is not actively involved in the project at this point.
Okay.
But he usually responds fairly quickly, so we'll just shoot him a message on Slack, and he should be able to set that up.
Yeah,
great, thank you.
But you can still view this. You can't make any changes, but this is open for public, right?
This board, I'm not sure if it is actually.
Let me paste the link in the chat.
Yeah, you can try it live, and then
I pasted the link in the chat.
Checking. Actually, it is visible, so.
Okay, so you can at least see it then. Great. And on Slack, you can find Craig as Purity Control. The easiest way to get access to this board is to send him a personal message with your email, and he will add you to the board like that.
Great, and then just so I'm clear, how does this work with, I see that you have a couple issues open in GitHub. Are you using that, or is that kind of a legacy way of tracking items that need to be done?
Yeah,
or is that just for questions?
Yeah, the GitHub issues are essentially irrelevant at this point.
Okay.
We can probably get rid of them actually altogether. I don't think they're contributing anything at this point.
Anything interesting here? I didn't read it.
In the GitHub issues, well, I'm sure it's interesting stuff. It's,
okay, I can read them if they are.
Yeah. And it's still relevant. So again, if people have opinions, then please share.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you guys. I apologize. I have to jump to another meeting right now, but I'm on Slack, and I'll finish getting this set up and ping you with any questions I have before the next Scrum.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks so much.
All
right.
Need any help?
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, so that's it for us, I guess, huh? So what's next? Let me pull up the board again.
So this 393 that it's in progress.
Yeah.
I already have that done. So once the which one is not the 377 is done, this one can. This is done too. So
yeah.
It's the left validation, so it's done the same way.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably straightforward.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, and yeah, what I was thinking of doing next was there was a task. Where is it? No, 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 no. I lost it. There was, oh, sorry, it was the, why can't I find it? It was the thing that we talked about at one point, the ability to import records with missing dates.
All right.
Oh, here, right here. I just couldn't see it right in the middle of my screen. Yeah, this idea that they want to upload orphan records where the orphan's date of birth or father's date of death might not be known. So, Christian, you and I talked about the different ways of handling that, and I think that this is probably what I'll be exploring next.
That's a good one. I'm looking for the one where with the notifications of adult orphans.
Yeah, it's this one here. It's in the icebox.
Oh, this one, right.
But it's written differently because you can see from its number. This is 126. Modusum created in September of last year. So.
Oh, that's old.
Yeah, but I mean that was something that the client had asked for, I guess, initially, but this was before they had this idea of having a notification center. So that changes. I think that this is going to be pretty different from the way that it's described here. So yeah, whenever time comes for that, we'll.
Yeah, I would like to check out.
Yeah, yeah, because we were talking about doing these background jobs and yeah, setting up some kind of like a dashboard / notification center with messages, etc. So it's yeah, it's going to be pretty involved. I'm sort of concerned about well, not sort of concerned. I guess I've been concerned about the progress of the project for a while because we're like I feel that
last week was quiet. It doesn't feel good.
Well, it's not even so much that. It's just that we're, you know, the three of us are spread out over. You know, sometimes we're doing client requests, sometimes we're doing Rails stuff. I mean, I know that I wasted time on this improving the orphan model and this, you know, the service objects and this enums instead of statuses. And I don't know if you remember, Christian, I talked about having this orphan state machine. Like I wonder, you know, the fact that there is basically just the three of us, at least at the moment, actively working on this, what's the best way for us to maximize our impact? You know, would it be to focus on transition to Rails and basically ask the client to wait on any new features? So we can tell them that the current application, we kind of put it into maintenance mode where if something is broken, then we will fix it. But if not, then we will not work on any new features. We'll just work on the kind of behind the scenes architecture. The other alternative would be the complete opposite. Basically, we abandon the Rails for now.
Oh no.
And focus on client requests. But yeah, I don't think anybody wants to be doing that.
Rails is the most important now. I think we should go that way.
Yeah. Gabriel, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we need to be doing some things in Rails because because actually I think we feel better working on it. But also I think we need to trying to getting new you know some feedback, also new functionality about the client, because in that way he knows that the system is getting, you know, progress. Or
that's the thing, that we don't really have enough time to do both, and I think we should prioritize one of them.
So one option is if you look at our pull requests right now, OSRA 337 is this is a client request.
Yeah.
This conversion of father alive to father deceased is a client request. And that other story that I mentioned, the filtering of orphans by name and birth date, that was a client request. So we will deliver, let's say, just this week, we will deliver 3 or 4 stories, 3 or 4 requested features to them for review. So that tells them that we are working on the application. And maybe after this week, so once all those stories are delivered and accepted, maybe we can focus on Rails for, I don't know, well, basically until it's done at this point, I think. So that the client is, you know, that they still know that we're here, we're working on the application, but then we just ask them for a bit of time to fix the back end.
Yeah, I think it's the best way, because in the situation we are now, it's complicated because of that. We need to we don't have a lot of people, resources, so we need to do the code review because we have to. It's essential. Yeah. When we get that's done. Yeah, maybe moving forward in the near future, but now very good. Yeah.
Also, if we get rid of active admin, I think for new people that are joining here, it will be easier to follow the application.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Yeah, we've had a few people come in and be very surprised about the structure of our application. They thought that it was half finished because it was missing controllers and views.
Yeah. When you learn Ruby and Rails, you learn a lot about controllers and views, and then when you join OSRA, you see this, and
yeah, we're missing
it's like a
V. Yeah, it's the MVC framework, but we're missing the V and C. It's pretty confusing.
The MAA.
Yeah, that's awful. All right. Okay, so let's deliver the stories to the client that they requested. So basically, we keep doing what we're doing. Deliver the start date, and then the other things that I mentioned. And once the client has accepted them and is satisfied that we haven't run away from the application yet, we can talk to them and tell them that we would like some time to work on improving the architecture. And so we won't be delivering anything new for a while, but if they have any problems, we are available to fix bugs or whatever it is that they need to be done.
Mm-hmm. I noticed a week ago, or maybe even longer, that the client sent a message that he is not very confident about the progress of this project so far. I mean, in the future.
Well, I think that's kind of how it sounded. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's exactly what they meant or not. Here, let's go find it. Yeah, it sounded a little. Yeah. We believe that you and your team are busy in another project, but we just would like to inquire about the enhancements and comments on OSRA support system status. Thanks a lot. Well, I wrote back a very long reply.
Yeah.
Telling them everything that we were working on. So, I think they. Yeah, and when Tyrek wrote back, he said this post was just to know the general status. So. Yeah. Well, we basically we made that decision to switch over to Rails, and we made it when the situation was completely different.
Mhm.
We, you
Maybe
know,
maybe they are waiting for us to implement all the features so they can start maybe some work on
yeah.
all forms of, maybe they have some plans, I don't know.
Well, okay. So maybe what we should do is we haven't had a client meeting for a while. We can schedule one for this Sunday, and we can describe the situation to them basically that we have only 3 active developers, and in addition to delivering the new features that they requested, we are also basically we have no choice but to continue with that major refactoring of the whole application
Mm-hmm.
that the whole team started when there were 6 or 7 people working on it. So we can ask them sort of um, what's the minimal set of features that would make the OSRA application functional for them.
Yeah, which one is really urgent?
Yeah,
Yeah, because if it's not, then we can do it next month maybe.
yeah. Like they have this idea of being able to upload
Yeah,
uh, images,
yeah,
and that's been there since the beginning. And I know that this is something that they've talked about recently too. But I don't know if without that functionality they basically can't use the application at all, that it's useless to them, or
yeah.
it's
And
just a nice thing to have.
that is a feature that if you implemented in active admin, then we have to redo it in Rails.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it would definitely reduce the amount of work that we have to do for every single feature if we complete Rails first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's make that our tentative plan. We'll set up a client meeting for Sunday and talk to them about all of this.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's alright. Yeah.
Okay, guys. If there's nothing else, then
Yes, there is.
oh yeah, okay.
We have to talk about the presentation of the application.
Oh right. Uh,
So how about we start the document in Confluence and we write all the steps we think we should do in the presentations.
yeah. Um, so the format that uh, I don't know what the format like. Sam doesn't want it to be a. It sounds like he doesn't want it to be an event anymore. He kind of suggested that we can just record a hangout where we walk through the application's interface.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we don't need to prepare too much for it. We can basically just, well, exactly, just do that. Maybe in the next Scrum, we just boot up the testing server, walk through. Yeah,
Yeah, what I was thinking we should start with showing the application, like exactly how it works, like the interface.
yeah,
Yeah, and then go to the code and show the code, right?
yeah. I
And also including the active admin and also the switching to Rails part.
yeah. Um, One thing is we can do it in parts, maybe. So we can just walk through the interface in
Mhm.
one hangout and
But
then,
the thing is, if we do the recordings, I can edit it and cut
ah,
the
okay,
parts that are I don't know,
right.
something bad, or I can also add text over it and whatever. I can
Yeah,
make all, any changes maybe.
okay,
And then and clear all the dead moments, and it will be
right.
nice and concise,
Okay.
and that will be helpful.
Okay, so uh, well, I don't have any ideas off the top of my head, I guess, about like we can present the UI fairly simply. I don't think there is much there. Like we just need. Yeah.
Just the functionality so people understand
Yeah.
what is it. Like we log in, we show we have sponsors, partners, orphans, and
Yes.
every sponsor can have sponsorship an orphan and how it's done, and then I don't know, users, what the users,
Yeah.
and that's it. I think.
But I think that that part of me, or for me, that part is fairly simple because
Yeah.
it's straightforward. But when it comes to actually discussing code, I'm not sure how to talk about it or what to say there.
How deep to go?
Yeah.
Well, Well, let's do a first presentation about the code with the, I don't know, basic stuff like here is active admin. These are the controllers that and the views that generate the views.
Yeah.
Simple stuff.
Man. Can we avoid discussing active admin altogether?
Well,
Probably not.
it's part of what we worked so long, and
Yeah.
without this, maybe it's too simple. Let's keep it. I think it's good
Yeah.
experience.
I think to me what maybe is kind of a what's one of the features of our application that might be maybe different from others is that because we're primarily focused on data storage and just data integrity, that we have a lot of validations and constraints on our models. So things like that we have well, exactly like that we have many different validations that cross-validate different attributes, basically to make sure that data is always valid, that all the records remain valid, etc. But yeah, I don't know. When I start thinking about code, I'm not sure what to say about it per se.
Like for example, if Michelle just joined here, and how about the same like you're presenting this application to Michelle, so she understands the code and can continue
Yeah.
to contribute, something like that.
Okay.
Actually, if I can say I can tell us my opinion. It's kind of hard, when I start with the system because my previous Ruby on Rails systems were kind of basic simple, but here the structure and also how you say yeah, the functionality is you giving a lot of importance to the couple things and abstraction. So maybe to get it, to if I actually I don't have a lot of experience on those on in the couple or structuring classes. So for me, it's kind of difficult. Was kind of difficult. And also, I don't understand the many abstract things about the system because they are very technical. But in general, if you want if we want to show this to a person who more or less know Ruby on Rails, we need to try to figure out how to give it the information, but not so complicated, or giving the main points about how they can go through the application and navigate through the so because it could be challenging to understand how the things are going.
Yeah.
So So we need to talk about both the sort of the technical aspects of the application and also the business logic. About, for example, that orphans can only be created by importing orphan lists, things like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Also, I read the documentation in Agile Ventures about the database model and other documentations about the system. It was very nice. You can understand more or less the meaning of the structure in general of the system.
Mm-hmm.
But in some aspects also, that there is more, the system needs more information about what is the things are get together, attached together, or or the patterns or things or abstractions we are taking effect,
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Well, it sounds to me like it's going to be more than just a single session for us to record everything and to explain, to walk through everything.
Well, I don't think we should keep it very long because nobody will look at it again.
No, the final video might not be very long, but for us to, to say the right things and to put it all together in a way that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, what we can do is we can get started. In the next Scrum,
Okay.
we can record something,
Uh-huh.
and
There's only one thing.
yeah.
I'm sorry to say this, but I think, Nick, that you have to do the talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
Well,
none of us is doing it better than you.
Yeah.
well, I can do that, but I'll keep asking you guys questions because I'll probably forget certain
Yeah,
aspects of it,
sure.
or at the very least, when I
Yeah,
talk.
you're right. Maybe you can do it as a team presentation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. Let's try to keep it as informal as possible. Like basically, whatever naturally happens as we talk about the application. That's probably the best way to give people a feeling of what it's like to be on the team too, not just what the application is.
mm-hmm. And or maybe we can ask Michelle to join, and we can just present the application to her, and she can tell us if she understands or not.
Yeah.
That would be an idea.
Yeah. Or well, yeah. Just about anybody, I suppose.
Yeah.
It can be somebody who doesn't know much about Ruby on Rails, or it could be somebody like, I don't know,
Oh.
Sam or Thomas. But
Yeah.
they know the framework, but they don't know the business parts of our application. So
But maybe they are too experienced, and then they go over all the topics like, yeah, I got it, and it's
right,
done.
right, okay. All right, guys. Well, let's come back to this on Thursday. So let's remember to have a fairly short scrum then, and then after that we can
Yeah.
start working on this.
Also, I found some bugs on the application, but it's not important. I think they can wait.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up next Scrum, okay?
Okay. Maybe either mention it on Slack or on Jira so that we don't lose track of these things.
No, it's stamped on my monitor.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay, guys. So until Thursday then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
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 All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See ya. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.